So you had a conversation with Dad.
We've been kind of talking to Dad, and you and I have been going back and forth, I think, for years about how do we repair that connection with Dad. The dynamic between me and Dad is different between you and Dad, which you would think it would be like, well, all of your children, you would love them the same, but Dad doesn't. Our dad's not like that.
No,
he's not like that at all.
But I think he was more proud of you.
Yeah.
Like I was just a girl.
But I think that him being proud of me has nothing to do, I think, with my accomplishments, and everything to do with how much of his emotions I validate. I don't think it has anything to do with like, oh, he went through these great things. Dad only likes me because I'm someone he can use to talk up about his own parenting to other people.
Show off.
He is. He's a show off.
See, and I was a girl, so nothing I did was like,
right.
My daughter is accomplishing these great things.
Yeah, because your role was to be servile.
Which is strange, right? Because our mom is like
badass,
killing it at like a men's game, making crazy money.
Yeah, she's a killer.
She really is, and like he's the one that stays home and cleans the house. But he's very gender roles for everybody else.
Yep.
But that doesn't work in our house. But he treated us that way for sure.
Yeah, and I remember thinking as a kid growing up, like with the way that he would treat us, Mom would be his kind of enforcer to be like, well, he doesn't have to follow these rules. You have to follow the rules. And as a kid, you're like, okay, I guess that makes sense because, and they'll weaponize things that you have no hand in, like paying bills. Like, bitch, I didn't ask to like be born. Like, I didn't ask for you to like come in and feed me, remember they would be like, all we have to provide to you is like a mattress and bread and water. And I'm thinking like that scared me back then. And I'm thinking like now it's like, okay, bitch, do it then. Like, I don't care.
But you were the kid who would have been like, do it.
Do it. I don't care. Like it's so funny because they're constantly trying to reel me in. They're constantly trying to like bring me under their like wing, and they're like very just authoritarian parenting style. And I just constantly fought them, and they hated that.
Yeah.
They hated it. The last couple of years, we've kind of talked about your struggle connecting because you want Dad to be a father role.
Like I wanted to be the girl that says, well, oh, you won't do that for me? Well, my dad will. I feel like Mom really was the dad, and Mom was the mom. And she, except for dealing with him and enabling his poor behavior, she was a rock star at it. I don't know how she had the energy to do it.
I guess that's what happens when you grow up with an outhouse.
She's a very good judge of character.
She is.
Except for politically.
Well, I think politically, she's more about stabilizing. She's not about having principles and upholding them, because those are meaningless to her if it destabilizes her household.
But she wants peace.
She wants peace at home.
But she will always back Dad.
They're both Christian. They're both Southern Baptist fundamentalists. For the past couple of years, I've been kind of talking to you about Dad, and talking to you like, you'll be like, I just want him to be a good dad. I just want him to be loving. And I'm like, Trish, you got to accept that he's just never going to be that way.
I know.
Like Mom told me at one point, mentally he's 14. And that helped me get on with how dumb he was like, well, if he's mentally 14, then there's no reason to like argue with a 14-year-old. They just don't know enough yet. Like I'd always heard growing up, I'd always think, Dad, Obama would come on TV and Dad would just like mute it, right? Or Dad would be like, liar. And I was like, Dad's so smart. How does he know he's lying? Little did I know he's just justifying his emotions, right?
Yeah.
He can, if Obama is not lying, then his anger is unjustified. Therefore, Obama has to be lying about what he's talking about because my dad's angry, right? Our dad's angry. Right?
And I'm so mad at Dad because I did not get to enjoy those 8 years because I also hated Obama because I grew up hating Obama.
Yeah, and it's like you can disagree with the man, but at least listen to what he has to say first.
But
before
he's a communist.
He's a communist. I haven't been involved in politics. Like I didn't vote in 2016. And if I would have, I probably would have voted for Trump, just because I was just very very emotionally driven. I thought it was funny that he made all of the libtards mad. I thought that was like the basis of my belief, right? I mean, there was nothing deeper than that, And in 2020, I didn't vote because I just didn't care. But then, I started listening to more political podcasts, watching more news, and seeing how unhinged some of the things he was saying was, and I'm like, okay, now's the time to get involved.
Do you remember what the pivot point was?
Well,
what you heard, and you're like, oh.
The pivot. I would say the beginning pivot point was I was listening to this guy named Milo Yiannopoulos. Okay, and he used to work for Breitbart News, and he is very much like a provocateur. I used to think he was. Now I think he's kind of strung out, but he used to be just this wordsmith, and just very quick thinking. And he was gay, so it's like, oh, he's going on and he's telling the feminists what for, and they're gonna what can they say because he's gay. He always makes these jokes about going home to his black husband and doing all these things or whatever, and I thought that was so funny, right? And I think I showed you a video of that with a conservative where it was female conservative gets destroyed or whatever, and I thought it was so funny. I didn't understand anything that they were talking about, and you're like, Alex, this is he's wrong. I think Trump is dangerous. And, I really respect your opinion, especially after I got out of the Marine Corps in 2016, I had a lot of mental issues. And so you really helped me work through those. And so I thought I would kind of have this cognitive dissonance of well, how can I have someone who is my most trusted, I know this person's not lying to me, right? You're not one of these feminist crazies that I had thought existed out there.
Sure.
And you're coming to me, and I mean, we had gone to a Tea Party rally.
We had
at one point,
I
right?
took my 3-year-old at the time with me.
And that was at the Royal Stadium. I was that made me think, that made me stop and think well, she's not trying to manipulate me. She's not trying to I don't know, insert whatever garbage talking point here. And that kind of, I didn't immediately shift or anything like that. It took me many years to eventually realize maybe the side that I would get triggered when people would talk crap about Trump, and it would make me reflect why do I care about this? Why am I getting triggered?
Right.
And I think it was after just going through more podcasts and going through more debates and realizing these people, I was really into Jordan Peterson at the time, and I think 2016 Jordan Peterson is a much different Jordan Peterson, that's my guess, than the Jordan Peterson today. I don't know who he is now.
I mean, he's been replaced by a clone.
Yeah, right. That's more believable, I guess.
I mean, I don't know what happened.
Insane, but I used to really look up to him, and I felt like he was the father that I never had growing up, because he would tell me, he would say things like, hey, if 100 women are telling you no, it's not them, it's you. And why would you be able to do this? You're stupid and you're weak and you haven't worked on yourself and you don't brush your teeth. And, and it would be these were hard truths I needed to hear. He blew up so much because he wasn't quite Christian, but he was also he would kind of say these truths that I think a lot of that demographic of men needed to hear. And I don't know what he changed now. He's not the same guy, but I felt okay, I need to reconcile how I felt when you told me that with why I'm getting triggered, because I know it's not manipulative from you. You're just not that person. And so I started hearing some of the things Trump was saying on rolling. You know what? January 6th was big for me too. January 6th, I'm these assholes should be
So
hanged.
did the people make you mad, or did Trump's response make you mad? Okay.
Both. I feel our forefathers would have hanged him for treason.
You know what's crazy about that is January 6th, I thought to myself, this is the moment Dad's going to recognize this is the problem. Because he's a history major and he loves World War II. And I thought, oh, well, He's going to see this is the problem.
Yeah.
And then he didn't. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. And it's because, there's definitely like, okay, so I work in mental health. I'm a case manager. I have a degree in psychology. And what we will look for is called the golden thread. So when I work with people, I do two major things. The secondary thing that I do is that I just get them connected to resources, which is really easy. Anybody can do that. My primary purpose for case management is to teach them what to do when they don't know what to do. So instead of panicking, they can be like, okay, this thing is triggering me. This is the emotional expanse I'm feeling inside. I need to use a coping skill to bring myself back down, and then I can problem solve. Because you can apply that to any situation,
Sure.
right? But we look for the golden thread where it's like, okay, you have a client who is not getting along, or is like their son is abusing them and they're letting them stay in their house. And you're like, well, why would you keep them in your house if they're continuing to abuse you? Well, if you talk to them, you get to know them, it's because they feel like they were a terrible parent growing up and they owe their child this. And it doesn't matter how much that they abuse them. It's all justified retribution. Like they deserve, whenever they feel bad, whenever their son calls them a name or doesn't come home or is coming home high or something, it's like, I deserve this, right? So that's the golden thread. So you have to get that and be like, hey, you have to reflect that back onto them and say like, well, how do you feel like this is what's going on? And many times they'll be like, yeah, I think this is, if they say no, then that still is information for you and you can navigate to try to find that golden thread. But then the golden thread is like every single meeting you meet with them has to be then on that thread, because that's what's holding them back, right? So with Dad, we thought we knew what the golden thread was, and that was that he knew history.
Yeah,
But
I thought
actually,
he had values, right? I thought principles and values mattered to him, because that's what changed me. Because I started watching it, I was like, these don't align with my values. These don't align with things I always thought. And Trump coming along and everybody bending to him, I was like, wait a minute, isn't this what we were fighting against?
Right.
And so, at least I know I stick with my values, and they could be wrong. I'm not saying they're wrong, but at least I'm consistent. I just need somebody to be consistent. But go ahead, sorry.
No, you're okay. Yeah, and I think what we found with Dad is that his golden thread is simply justifying his emotions. That's it. That's all it is. I think human beings have this misconception of their ability to reason. They think that their ability to reason is calibrated to what's true. But that's wrong. It's calibrated to justify their emotions. Jonathan Haidt, this is a social psychologist. He does really good work. He talks about when you get triggered by something, we have the response to be justified, to feel like we're justified in whatever emotion that we feel. And then we feel that emotion first. And then our little guy up in our head writes a little memo that we can then use to vomit out on the world to justify our emotions, right? So if a guy cuts us off, it wasn't because we were trying to pass somebody on the right. It was because that guy's a dickhead, right? I mean, you can see this every day when you drive, right? Like if you're driving, you're just so disconnected from other people, and yet you're right next to them. And it's so easy. I feel like rarely are we ever like, oh yeah, that was my fault. Most of the time it's the immediate response is that guy's a dickhead.
The first step to knowing that somebody is growing is when they say, why is that making me feel like this?
Yeah, the reflection, the self-reflection.
That is huge, right? Yeah. And the more you do it, the easier it is to do. Because at first it feels like weakness. Like if I'm not standing up and being big and loud and be like, what's your fucking problem? Then it's like, well, I'm just letting people walk on me. But instead it's like, why would I let somebody who I don't care anything about upset me? What is this bringing me back to?
Right.
That took me years of therapy.
It takes a lot. I mean, they should teach that in schools.
Oh, for sure.
The fact that they don't do that is crazy.
For sure.
Now, I don't know when that would be. I think you have to be a certain age to kind of understand emotionally. I mean, you probably can't teach that to a 6-year-old. Well, you probably could. There's probably things that you could do to
Well, you do the big feelings, right?
Big feelings, yeah.
And then as you get older, you start talking about, well, why do we have to do blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, questioning yourself is not weakness, right? I think a big thing I've seen in my work is the biggest barrier that people have to self-improvement is the feeling that they deserve punishment for failure. So they'll be like, instead of being like, well, failure is just a part of growing.
Well, failure,
right?
if you're not allowed to fail your job, you'll never innovate.
Wisdom comes from making mistakes. So if you never make
100%.
mistakes, you'll never gain wisdom.
I heard somebody say once that wisdom was just failure with no attachment, like no emotional attachment anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I learned my lesson and it doesn't hurt anymore, and I can grow from the lesson I learned, right?
Yeah. I think keeping yourself honest is really important, because if you look at the extreme of the other side, you're looking at a narcissist who never takes accountability for their actions, doesn't care about their emotional impact on other people, and is just a dickhead all the time. And that's the person that these people that are trying to improve don't want to be. And every time they try to self-reflect on mistakes they've made, they feel like if they don't get punished, they're becoming that person. And it's just not true. If you're self-reflecting in the first place, narcissists don't self-reflect.
100%.
So you're already not that person.
Right.
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 So the golden thread, just go break that to the golden thread, like with Dad, it's just justifying his emotions. It's anything that makes him, he was never taught emotional regulation. And so if anything makes him feel uncomfortable, it's bad. It's evil, bad. And it's against the Bible.
It's against the Bible.
It's against the Bible. You have to go straight to the top with him, because.
But not Jesus.
Not Jesus.
Not that.
Because that's really inconvenient, and makes me feel like makes him feel bad. Like.
So you had this conversation with Dad.
Yeah.
What was the whole point of having this what was your goal?
You had told me a few months ago, like, I don't think he's really changed. I think he's just not under the pressure of us being in the house. And I thought, well, maybe. So I start seeing more and more things about how much of an idiot Trump is. And that doesn't make me as upset as the people around him do, right? About like Stephen Miller being almost like a lookalike of Goebbels, 100%. Like, and just being a short little man. I mean, I'm 5'4". I'm a short guy, right? I've had to accept that over time and make up for that with charisma.
Yes.
Yeah, there people
and
get
the beard.
there are different privileges that people have in life, right?
For sure.
And height is definitely one of them. What I learned is you don't get to use that against other people, right? Like if somebody has a preference for something, you don't get to be like, well, you should like lower your standards. It's like, no, they don't have to do that, right? Maybe I should become more likable. Right. So, and that makes me feel empowered, right? That puts the control, being 5'4", the control is out of my hands.
Right.
Being a likable person that's not looking for something from somebody and just wanting to like chill and be friends and have a good time, that gives me the power. That gives me the control. 100%. Now I can be happy, right? And that's how I met my wife, is like not worrying about that. It also helps that she's shorter than I am. But that's besides the point. Beside the point. So,
there's a lid for every pot.
Right. So, so I saw him just doing these crazier and crazier things. I think the first big thing that tipped me off was eating the dogs during the debate.
They're eating the cats.
They're eating the cats and dogs. And then they checked him in real time, and they're like, nobody's doing that. Like, the Haitians, I think it was, right? And so I'm like, he's just like saying things. He's just like lying, right? I mean, these are easily disprovable lies. And I thought, well, he's going to lose, right? Because surely there's not enough dumb people in America that we would vote this guy in. But I think what happened is that the majority of people, I think they were upset about Biden dropping out, Kamala coming in. And I think that they also thought Trump was funny, right?
Because he trolls people.
And he trolls people. And now we're coming to realize that electing a clown, now we have a circus, right? I mean, that's pretty. So, I'm seeing J.D. Vance say crazy things. I'm seeing Kristi Noem, I'm hearing about her shooting the dogs. I'm, shooting her puppy. Like Pam Bondi is totally just like not following the law. Like now I didn't know about all this yet, but I'm kind of seeing Trump as like the initial person, And then he won, and he starts like knocking the press out. Right. And it's like, well, that's a First Amendment violation. Okay. And then we're doing stuff like, we can't do anything with the press in the Pentagon unless what was it, P. Hegseth signs off on it or whatever, and it's like, okay, so that's un-American. We pardoned all the January 6thers, even the ones that assaulted police officers.
Right.
Okay, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I went over and I just wanted to have a small conversation. I kind of wanted to gauge how he felt, you know. And I'm like, Dad, I got to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Trump right now. I think the forefathers would hang him if they were around. Mm-hmm. And he just started going off about, you know, DEI, and he started going off about you know, the tariff. It's so funny. When Trump was running in 2016, I remember Dad telling me that tariffs were a terrible idea.
Well, Reagan thought tariffs were a terrible idea. And he
right.
loves Reagan.
Right. And so, well, he likes that Reagan makes him feel good about his emotions.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't actually like Reagan or know any of his policies or care about anything Reagan actually stood for.
But he did before. He
you
knew.
Think so?
I'm not saying he knew why they were a good idea, mm-hmm. but I think he knew Reagan was not a fan of tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
His dad was a history major, right? Like, I think he did see that stuff. And then somehow Trump came in and, maybe I was wrong. Like, I can't even guess.
I think Dad doesn't like history because he enjoys the stories of the past.
Mm.
I think he enjoys history because he has OCPD, and it allows him to be better than other people in college. Because he really bragged about being, you know, what is it, cum laude or whatever, like the top 1%. He did really well in school, but he said he always had regrets about how school ran his life, basically. And I think it's because history is dates and names, right? And that's something he could really grab onto, that semantic memory, that like specific fact-based memory allowed him, after being such a fucking loser for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's better than these other students. Now the only reason he's getting an A is because it's proof that he's better than other people, right? And for his entire life he's been a loser, right? Like he didn't get to go to varsity because he didn't get to go to state because someone else beat him out, which is the whole reason why we wrestled. Nick and I only wrestled for 14 years because Dad got beat out to go to state.
Yeah.
Not because it's a good sport that builds camaraderie.
Well, that's what he says
which
now.
is what he always says.
He says that
because
now.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
That's a convenient story.
Sure.
You know, this apocryphal story that just exists in his mind, this narrative. But I mean, it was always for selfish reasons. You know, he's always been a really selfish guy. I think that's the reason why. I mean, it's so funny. We're talking about him being in the Navy, him being like, I never drank a drop of alcohol. I never did anything bad. But he was on payroll, so he would loan money to people to go do those things. And it's like, Dad, you're enabling people
100%.
At this point.
But only white people.
Is that what he said?
He did not lend to black people.
Such an idiot.
Such an idiot.
Why would you screw yourself out of money?
I don't know. And,
what a moron.
I mean, in your payroll, you could take it, right?
I know.
Do you know what his interest rate was?
What? It was 50 or 100%, right?
100% interest
100%. It's so stupid.
So he's like a loan shark.
Really blinded by his own idiocy and racism.
Well,
to like make money.
And now I'm not surprised that he loves Trump.
Yeah, right.
The kind of shit Trump does.
Right. I mean, they're a spitting image of each other.
They really are.
When
I see Trump say crazy things, I can see Dad saying those things.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the meetup. So I went over there, and this is maybe a year or two. This is about a year ago. And yeah, he was just going off about all this garbage. And I'm kind of like, okay. I didn't really challenge him because I didn't want to like rock the boat too much. And I remember having a conversation to him about how his yard has to be the best. And there was a story he told me about a dog coming and shitting in his yard. And instead of doing what the adult thing was, which would be to go talk to that person, because he knew who they were, to go talk to them and be like, hey, your dog is shitting in my yard. Could you not do that, please? They went out and bought like a spray and sprayed the side of their yard so the dog wouldn't come over and shit. Like all this effort. And I was like, Mom, I'm really surprised in you, because when you're at work, you're such a killer. You're such like if there's any room for misinterpretation or misunderstanding, it's getting squashed. And she's like, well, I just like to have a good, home life. And I'm like, this is doing the opposite though, because you're literally building resentment, right? You're building resentment against this person who doesn't even know that you're upset with them.
Right.
Right. After Renee Good was killed recently, I went over and told Mom, like, hey, what do you think about this? Actually, when I learned that her dog was in the car, you know, and I watched the video of how unjustified it was,
100%.
right? I called mom and I'm like, Mom, did you see the video? She's like, no. Okay, well, I'm going to be dropping off Cindy tomorrow. I want you to watch the video. She's like, okay. So I come home. All right, I come in the next day and she's like, I said, did you watch the video? And she goes, did you watch the video? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I don't know if you've ever been hit by a car, but I have. And I'm like, okay. So I rattled off like, well, you know, first of all, he's not supposed to be standing in front of the car. I think we talked about, I had thought at one point her 6-year-old was in the car, but that was wrong. But I wanted to show her, I'm glad that I was wrong about that though, because I wanted to show her that I could take accountability for the things that I said when I was wrong. Because it was all breaking news. People were saying all types of things. And with breaking news, sometimes you just get wrong information. So
that your sister gives to you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So I said, you're 100% right. 6-year-old was not in the car. And I want you to know as an act of good faith, I was wrong about that, you know? But I told her, you know, these people, they're saying that they're police. And she's like, well, they're not police. And I said, okay, well, why are they having capital letters POLICE across their, you know, across their plate carriers, right? I mean, if they're not cops, then why do they have police on there? She's like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, yeah, I know you didn't know that, because you didn't care to look it up. But here comes dad, you know, and I'm like, and I think I had rattled off just like, you know, it was an appropriate use of force. They escalated the situation by running up to the car and putting their hands in. She was getting conflicting orders. Like, all of this creates the situation. You cannot, I think I said, like, you cannot create a situation in which you have to escalate the use of force to deal with.
To death.
To death. That is not what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You do not create the situation that causes you to need to escalate force. That's supposed to come from outside. That's supposed to come when de-escalation fails. So then, here comes dad. And he's standing there in his little ripped shorts or whatever. And I'm like, well, you know, I gotta go, right? Because I do. I mean, I have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I drop him off, and I'm thinking about it. I drop off my daughter, and I'm thinking about it that day. And I called her, and I thought, you know, I felt like there was tension there, and I feel like I didn't do anything to really help that. So I had a plan. Like, what if we sat together like an hour? It can be like every month, you know, and we just like talk about political stuff and do research on like what's correct, right? Like what actually happened here. Because from all the reporting I've seen, this is completely unjustified, and it's obviously so. But I'm down to be wrong, like with the kid being in the car, you know, like if I'm wrong, that's fine.
Truth matters.
Truth matters.
Right.
Right? And I'd like to get to the bottom of it. And so she's like, I think that's a great idea. Let me run it by dad. I'm like, that's perfect. I want you to run. I would not expect anything less. So she ends up saying like, hey, he thinks that this is a really great idea, which really surprised me. Now I see it's because he thought I was going to agree with him.
Did he?
That's my interpretation.
Wow.
Because I think if he realized how it was going to go, he would not have said yes.
Okay.
Now we have this game called Let's Get Deep, and it's for couples, but I kind of curated the cards. It's a card game, but it's not like a win-lose card game. It's for like couples to rekindle things in their relationship. And so there's like icebreaker cards, there's deep cards, deeper cards, and activity cards. And Miri and I, my wife, had played it for a couple times. It was really good with like getting us to talk about things that really like brought us closer and reminded us why we love each other, right? Because sometimes just in day-to-day life, things get so busy, it's hard to take a step back and be like, we're not just roommates, you know, we love each other, and you know, and we're intimate, and we're together for a reason. We got married for a reason, you know. And so there's a lot of those that they're like a little bit too intimate for this conversation. So I took them all out, and now it would be things. I think the cards that we actually got to play were like, what's a conspiracy theory you believe?
You're going to tell me the answer to that.
So they believe that LBJ got JFK killed.
Like ordered it?
Ordered it.
Okay.
And I think it was because I don't remember exactly why they said that they believed that, but like it was a good conversation. Like, they brought up things that were not emotionally charged. They had a very like adult conversation about it, and they were like, and it's a conspiracy theory, I don't have any evidence, but I do think that this is what happened. And I'm like, great, this is such a great start. Oh, and for this first meeting, we were not supposed to talk about politics at all, because we just wanted to feel out this game. My plan was, if things start getting heated, we draw a card, right? And then we're not allowed to talk about politics. We have to do, whatever this card is. So then I think Dad draws a card. It would be Dad that draws a card that's like, is it important for you to be surrounded by people that are of the same political opinion as you? And he's like, absolutely. He's like, it has to be, because it's not about politics. Like, it's about basically it's about your soul, right? He didn't say those words, and he goes off on a rant about how, about just everything that is wrong with the country right now, how the destruction of the family is causing a destruction of the country. And I think the first thing we talked about was our first disagreement was religion. And I wanted to kind of wedge in that, like, Dad, if you're wrong about not even about Christianity, if you're wrong about what you believe about Christianity, your soul is in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the main things I wanted to bring up to him was, like, they taught us for a long time that all you have to do is say the words, I accept Jesus into my heart as my Lord and Savior. Mm-hmm. And that's the fix-all.
Salvation prayer, babe.
So, yeah. And I'm like, I don't think I believe that. Like, I think that is more sophisticated. I refuse to believe that, like, the Bible, this sophisticated book, and I told this to them, like, that theologians dedicate their lives to interpreting, is like literal, where it's saying you have to just say the words. I mean, if heaven is a place where someone can, like, when they were alive, rape infants and then go to a foxhole where there are no atheists and, a minute before they die, accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, I refuse to believe that person is swimming around in heaven. I refuse to believe that, Hitler hit one of these before he did the cyanide and now he's in heaven.
Right. Like, it's a spell. That would make it a spell.
A spell. That's a spell.
Right?
That's exactly, it's magic is what that is, right? Mm-hmm. That's no longer talking about principles in the way that you should live. We're talking about casting spells.
Pretty much.
Right. Witchcraft. So I told them, like, how do you, I had seen a little bit about seminary. I had seen that there's a really excellent video on YouTube where it's like the devil teaches Christians about Christianity or something like that. And it's animated. And he talks about, but the thing about him is he uses sources from people that are like biblical scholars, right? Mm. So these aren't just like people that are just like atheists that hate people that are religious. No, these are like biblical scholars that are Christian and have dedicated their lives to this. And they don't talk about what goes on in seminary. And seminary is a place that you go to, I think, to become a preacher, I believe, something like that. It's a preacher or a priest or whatever it is. And I guess one of the things they teach in seminary is like, hey, there's a lot of archaeological evidence that does not fit with what the Bible says. And we need to reckon that. We need to reconcile that. If you're going to go out and teach people about the Bible, you should know that there are things that archaeologists, there's no evidence that these things have happened. I don't remember which they specifically were, but I had brought that up just to show them. I'm not, my goal is never to, I have first of all, I should preface, I have great I'm not religious, but I have great respect for people that are. And I have great respect for people. I would never tell somebody, oh, your best friend died. Well, you're never going to see them ever again. Right. Why would I ever do that?
Right,
that's cruelty. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I think that religion is a very beautiful thing, that can really help people to get past some very difficult situations. And so I would never tamper with that ever. But the reason for me bringing up seminary is just to show them that, there are disagreements everywhere in the Bible. It doesn't mean that just because there's disagreements that the Bible's wrong. I'm just telling you that, if I'm right and accepting Jesus into your heart actually means living by those principles, well, then you are probably not going to heaven because you're a terrible person. He is, at this point, I'm coming to realize he is not willing to have a conversation. This is not a conversation that we're having here. It's not a dialogue. Because he is not, there's like, nope, I'm right. Like, that's his argument. Like, nope, I'm right. And I'm like, but what, is that what you're going to tell God when you get to the pearly gates? He's like, I'm not going to have to, because I'm going to be right. So I said, oh, so you know the will of God? And he said, yep. And I should have said that. I didn't think of it at the time. I didn't think of it at the time, but I should have been like, you just committed blasphemy. Like, to claim that you know the will of God is blasphemy. You just committed that. And it's because he doesn't actually give a shit about God. It's justifying his emotions.
And it's justifying him staying on a pedestal. Right.
He has to be better than other people. Right. I mean, our dad is the quintessential, like the person that gives Christians the worst name ever is my dad.
100%.
And people like my dad. He's the one.
But the crazy thing is about dad, if he sees you in need, he's the first person to do it on an individual scale. Like when I lost our daughter, right? Mm-hmm. He came, he paid for that funeral.
Did he pay for that funeral, or did he use mom's money to pay for that funeral?
Okay. I believe as married couple, it's both of your money.
I think that.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, but he doesn't like to see people he loves suffer, and he will try and be like, "How can I fix this?" Since also money, which is all his mom.
I would bet money that if he did not have the means, he would just like, I don't know.
He wouldn't be able to do it.
And I don't think he would.
But he does like to. He likes to offer mom services to fix whatever the problem is. Like I was having a terrible time.
Yeah, offer mom services. Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
Mom can come over and help you move. Oh, we'll come over and help you. Like, I mean, he'll offer her services all day, you know. And
when has dad done anything without mom?
Never.
That's the evidence to me that it's not really him. It's that he has the means. And so therefore, and because he feels bad, he has to quell that dissonance in his head. And he does that by using mom to be the good guy. I think he doesn't come out and give empathy to you. Your struggle makes him feel uncomfortable, and that's what he's addressing.
And then he'll talk to mom about it.
Talk to mom.
Mom
so it's never about you.
It's true.
It's never about coming and making you feel comfortable. It's like, ooh, her being uncomfortable is making me feel uncomfortable, and I don't like that. So So mom, what can we do?
Mom, what can we do? You're right. That's exactly what
that's not real empathy.
The other thing that is part of that, right, is we've never seen him cry. Mm-mm. Mom has never seen him cry.
I'll make him cry.
Oh, okay. Is that a challenge? We're going to tape it.
I don't know if you can call it a challenge. I bet I could do it if I wanted to.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean, the only thing I could think of that he might cry is if mom died. Maybe.
Yeah, and if mom dies, he's going in a home. Like that. I don't need anything from his will.
I know.
I don't need his money or any of his bullshit he gets from China or anything.
Again, so this is my own problem, right?
Sure.
Is in that I feel guilty that I am not taking care of my father.
I'm not going to take care of evil.
I know you're right. I know in my head you're right, but God, in my soul, it just feels so bad.
I think when you enable bad people to continue doing bad things, you bear responsibility for that.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Put him in a home.
And unfortunately, he's probably going to outlive her. Because he's extremely healthy.
He is. Because evil people live a long time.
Just like his mother.
Oh my God. Mom. That's right.
She was just awful. Like his mom. She was awful.
So anyway.
Okay.
And evil is not a category he's the only person I know that I would categorize that way.
In person.
Yeah.
I mean, we see Trump.
In person. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Trump's evil too. I would say that as well.
I would say the whole administration is evil.
No, yeah. I will walk that back. You're definitely right.
But probably in person.
In person.
I don't know.
There's a lot of people that I really, really don't like, but I don't think they're evil. I think they're kind of misguided, and I think maybe they didn't have a great childhood growing up or whatever, and they don't know how to cope with that. But
you think Dad's evil though? He's not just one person that just can't.
I think he's okay. He's evil in the sense that an infant is evil, but an infant isn't evil because they have an excuse because they're an infant. He's like 70-something. So you can't act like an infant when you're in your 70s.
You know what? I mean, as much as he doesn't like to see people he loves suffer because it gives him anxiety or whatever, people he doesn't like, he likes to see them suffer.
He does. He loves to see them suffer. That's and he wants it.
And see, I'm the opposite, except for Trump.
Suffer. Yeah, he needs to suffer.
But even people that have wronged me, I don't want to see them suffer. I want justice But I don't want suffering.
And you know, like with explaining his motivations, like I don't think it's inherently wrong to be like, okay, my sister is suffering. That makes me feel bad. Like on like a limbic system level where you're like, I feel bad, you know? Yeah, but I want to make it clear that I don't think it's bad when someone wants to quell their own discomfort and so they help somebody else necessarily. But I think dad is on a different level. I think it's not just about that. Because I think in a normal human being, yeah, they feel uncomfortable, but it does come from a place of like, despite that discomfort, I want to do what I can for you. Dad is not that way. I 100%. Here's the thing. I need to see evidence that he's not that way. And I have not seen a single shred of evidence. When?
Sammy.
Yeah, I guess he could control a little dog. And the little dog that wouldn't judge him.
He probably loved that dog more than he loved mom.
Yeah, I think so.
And honestly, if he was going to cry, it would probably have been over Sammy. And mom would probably never tell us.
I mean, and you can see that but you know what? I'll challenge you on that though, because he didn't really care about Sammy because he would have put him down long before.
Well, he did it because he's selfish.
Yeah.
But like, he didn't go see his grandson in California because of Sammy.
Because of Sammy, because of the fucking dog.
The fucking dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But the crazy thing is, he never loved us like he loved that dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets to we get to disagreeing about religion a little bit. And then he brings up women. Which
he hates women.
Which was a mistake on his part.
Because you love women.
Because I love women. Women are great.
Right.
And he was like, women are he's like going off on this, you know, diatribe. He's like, women are the cause of all of our problems. Like, I would feel like if I wasn't sitting there personally, like sitting there in person, that this was a fake. I would have thought that this was I would have even believed that the left had hired him to make the right look bad.
Yeah.
That's how much of an idiot he is, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, yeah, all women are stupid. You know, women shouldn't be able to vote, right? And I'm looking at mom like, you hear what the garbage is coming out of his mouth? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, mom's 1 in a million. And I'm like, okay, you know, two things can be true at the same time.
It's like dad having a black friend. Well, that's my black friend.
That's my black friend. Right. Yeah, right. And that's his sole purpose, is to be dad's black friend. Yeah, right.
Right. Token.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you know, two things can be true at the same time, right? Like, mom can be a 1 in a million woman, and also women are not stupid. Like, there are probably stupid women, but let me tell you, I know 10 women off the top of my head that would pick their teeth with you intellectually. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Dad, you're the one that's going off on the diatribe right now. You're the one that's having an emotional episode. Because he's like, women are stupid because they're emotional. Like, Dad, you're, you know, it's like, what is it, the Spider-Man meme of like, yeah. You know, like, you're the one that's going crazy right now about all this. And you're the one that sounds emotional. Nope, I'm not emotional. Like, okay, well, you're getting escalated, mm-hmm. and I haven't even challenged you on anything yet. Mm-hmm. So the fact that that's happening tells me that, you know, you're probably getting a little bit too emotional. I said, what about my wife? Do you think my wife is stupid?
Did you say that?
I did. Oh. I said, do you think Miri's stupid? And he doesn't know, but Miri's also bi. Because he's like, it's the fucking women and the homosexuals, you know?
Well, what about my daughter?
I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm like, what timeline are you from? He actually did not answer that question. He moved on from
Mary?
It. He didn't answer. He didn't say that she was stupid.
You didn't bring me up.
I knew he would say yes.
But I'm stupid?
Yeah, he would have definitely said you're stupid. Yeah. Something's wrong with you.
Something is wrong with me.
And
yeah, I'm sure I've heard him say that.
Yeah. He starts talking about like, you know, we're the patriots. We're the patriots. And, you know, we're gonna lose because, you know, America's not in the Bible, and just like stuff that has nothing to do with anything. And I'm just like, Dad, if you're going to lose anyway, why even fight? And he brings up the story he brings up like Daniel in the lion's den, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Right.
Which I came to realize very quickly, his MO is bringing up things that we're not talking about.
Right.
Because he just wants to stay angry and energized. Right. So we get to talking about Minneapolis. Minnesota is not following the supremacy clause. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. What is that? You know, he goes, the supremacy clause is like when the states are not supposed to interfere with the government, like government proceedings or whatever, right? And that's supposed to be ICE in this case. And I said, really? They are. I think we had brought up like how Trump was pursuing vindictively his political opponents. And he's like, that's not what he's doing. He's going after them because they're violating the supremacy clause. And so this is probably the main part of our conversation. I'm like, what did Governor Walz or Mayor Fry say specifically that violates the supremacy clause? And he's like, well, they show it every day. And I'm like, okay, so this should be easy for you then. Tell me specifically what they said. It's like, well, it's on TV. It's all over the news. I'm like, okay, so what specifically did they say? And I just kept.
Well, he mutes it. How would you ever
mutes
know?
it. Yeah, how would he know, right? So he keeps. I just drill it in. Like, what specifically? Because like I'm not opposed. Like if they like, I would say that like Mayor Fry being like, get the fuck out of my city would be his highest piece of evidence that they're violating the supremacy clause.
Right.
And maybe we can talk about that.
Right.
Maybe we can have a discussion about that. I'm not disagreeing with you just to disagree with you here. I want to know exactly what they said, because everything I've seen them say has been, besides that, has been, which by the way, I don't give a fuck that he said fuck. Like I don't care about that at all. What a little bitch thing to clutch your pearls over. Holy shit. But like, I'm like, at least we could talk about that on a legal standpoint, and we can like look it up. I'm thinking he's going to pull out his phone here any second and like look up evidence. Nope. He's like, it's obvious. They said it. They said it on television. Like, yeah, okay. What specifically did they say?
Right.
I need evidence.
Right.
He's like, what are you talking about? I'm giving you evidence. I'm giving you evidence. I'm like, Dad, no. What you're making are called allegations. You then have to follow them up with evidence.
Right.
And so I need to know specifically.
That's why he doesn't like due process.
That's why he doesn't like due process. It's so inconvenient.
Because if we just say that they are criminals, then we can kick them out with evidence.
And that's what Trump does, which is how they're exactly like each other.
Exactly like
each other, right? So like, he's getting really heated, and Mom is like just sheepishly. I've never seen Mom look so sheepish in my life.
Do you think she was embarrassed?
Like I hope so.
But do you think? Like, do you think that she like?
I don't know.
Heard it and she was like, "Oh,
I don't know.
That's bad."
I have no idea. But so I'm sitting over here. Okay. Dad's sitting right here and Mom is sitting over here. This is Dad's posture the entire time.
I can see it.
So, and I'm asking what specifically, and he's going, Mom, how did my kids turn out this way? How did my kids turn out this way? This is the second one that turned out this way. Nick's the only one that I can count on, our brother, Nick. And I'm like, my heart's beating, but at the same time, I'm like, this is too easy. This is too easy. I expected this to be more. I would get flustered if he had actually brought up evidence, I think. I shouldn't say flustered. I would have, because I have emotional stuff too that I deal with. And I was a little nervous going into this, that I would be the one that was kind of going off. And I'm trying to regulate my own emotions. But I'm like, this is too easy. Like I'm way too calm right now for how much of a bitch fit he's throwing right now. And it made me feel like powerful in a sense.
In control. You're in control of yourself. Well, he's out of control.
Exactly. And I kept bringing it up to him like, Dad, you're the one that's acting emotional right now. I didn't say this. I should have said this. I should have been like, maybe it's you that shouldn't be able to vote. Right? Because of how.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah. My only regret in voting is that it gets canceled by his.
Yeah, but then I vote. And then mine.
No, I'm going to vote. Unless this administration doesn't get punished, I don't know what I might move. I might just leave America. I might end up doing that. But because I have to know that there's justice. I have to know.
Well, that's how you get vigilantism. That's what's happening in Minneapolis, because nobody is getting punished for breaking all of these things we're supposed to be able to do. First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. And so if there's no justice, then, and that's, you know what? That's the same argument for January 6th, who were absolutely wrong.
Yeah,
right?
There should have been bodies on the steps.
For sure.
They should have. For sure.
But in their mind.
There should have been blood on those steps.
In their mind, there was no justice. Because Trump told them there was no justice.
That's right.
So they felt like they were justified to go be vigilantes.
Because you know what? What did he say? When you're fighting for your country, you break no laws, right? He said something like that.
Trump for sure said, he could shoot somebody in the middle of the street and lose a vote. And I think he's right.
He's probably right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
I don't know if I would have believed it before having this conversation. So that's with Dad. So that's, yeah. Anyway, he's foaming at the mouth at this point. He keeps appealing to Mom, and
what's she saying?
Nothing. She won't say anything.
She didn't even help him?
Nope.
Wow.
She was completely silent.
I'm really surprised about that. She
Yeah,
tried to help
because
him.
you know why? Because I was calm, I was collected, and I was making valid points that she could not refute. And he looked over at her. He was staring at her. And now that I'm thinking about it, he was waiting for her to save him, and she couldn't. Because like we talked about, she's a very logical person. She knows conflict management. She's a project manager. So her job is conflict management, and she's so good at it.
She's really good at it.
And she knew in that moment that this conflict is coming from her husband.
But I'm really surprised that. So to me, Dad is an abusive partner. He's abusive to us, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But at least emotionally abusive to Mom.
100%.
And I'm surprised that she didn't try to come in and make him not look so bad. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think she knew what to say. I think she probably wanted to, but I wasn't giving her any ins. Mm. So I mean, if I had gotten real personal, she probably would have done it. But I didn't. I was like, by the way that you're acting right now is showing me that you can't handle political discussions. By the way you're acting right now is like you're being the thing that you're saying is ruining the country.
And you just took away her right to vote.
Yeah.
Like
an idiot.
Like
so
she
stupid.
could run the country. Like she would. If she didn't like, if it worries me that she will go along with Trump, but like if it was just her in a vacuum, she'd be a great president.
She would. She's amazing.
She is amazing, and she's fair, and she's logical, and she just wants a peaceful life, which makes me very nervous, obviously, about her being a president. But
yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so he's foaming at the mouth.
He's foaming at the mouth, and at this point, he's asking, like, well, how do they turn out this way? Why are they like this? Whatever. And I'm like, Dad, I'm just thinking critically. I'm trying to think critically. And he goes, you know who thinks critically? Communists. And I'm thinking, that's not the own you think it is. And I also realized I don't think he knows what critical thinking means. So I said, let's test this. So I said, Dad, what does critical thinking mean? And he goes, I don't know. So I said, how do you know the communists are doing it if you don't know what it is that they're doing?
Right.
And he goes, oh, well, have you heard of critical race theory? Yes. That also has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And I'm pretty sure he only brought that up because both of them have the word critical in them.
Of course.
Like, that's the extent of his knowledge on things.
Well, that's Trump taking out things that say women or taking out things that say diversity. Or we can't have diversity.
Or the idea that they're, they're sending us their mental criminals because these are people seeking asylum.
Right.
Yeah. I'm 100% confident.
And that's when he brought up Hannibal Lecter.
She's an idiot. Like, he's so stupid.
Trump just equated.
He has the keys to the nukes.
I know.
He's so stupid.
I know. Yep. What he meant. He 100% thinks Hannibal Lecter has to do with asylum seekers.
Yeah. Because there's the word asylum. That was probably the highlight of it. Kind of went back to like, how did you turn out this way? What he goes like, where are you getting your news from? What, MSNBC? And I was like, Dad, you know nothing about me. You know nothing about my political beliefs. You have no idea if I'm a liberal or a conservative. You have no idea. Mm-hmm. And I said, you want to know how I got this way? It's because you psychologically and physically abused us. I can't think of a single fatherly thing. Like, he didn't teach me like how to fish. He didn't teach me how to like change a tire. He didn't teach me how to like talk to women. He didn't teach me about sex. Like, he taught me nothing. He didn't teach me a single thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't teach me about camaraderie in wrestling. He didn't teach me about history. Like, he would bring up little history things, but that's just because he like knew it. It wasn't like, oh, this is a father-son moment. He thinks our father-son stuff was wrestling. And I'm like, Dad, I hated wrestling. I respect wrestling as a sport. It's an amazing sport. And I think in a better circumstances, I could have had a lot better time with it. But he's just trying to live vicariously through me.
Well, and then he would make you suffer when you didn't make him feel good.
I mean, our brother, he lost 5 matches in one day, and he made him wear a dress. He was like 6. Made him wear a dress around the house. Psychologically abused him in that way. And I brought that up to him. I said, I have planned to commit suicide multiple times in my life. Did you know that? And he like rolled his eyes at me. He rolled his eyes at me.
That makes me livid.
Yeah. But it's okay.
It's not okay.
Because I can't have expectations be broken for someone I have no expectations for. So But
it makes me livid for that kid.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like after this conversation with him, I have felt that little boy. I have cried for him. Man, I've cried for him in the last 2 months. Like, I've sobbed for him. And I just think about all the times that he was, obviously the little boy being me, younger, just abused and, psychologically, physically, just horrible things. And standing up to my dad like this, calling him out for this bullshit, made me feel like I finally stood up for that little boy. And it made me feel like I took back a part of myself from him. And I feel so much more like confident now. I feel so much better after that. There are very few things in life that are good that hit you immediately. Bad things hit you immediately, right? Get in a car wreck, you get punched in the face, the consequences are immediate. Good things tend to only happen when you look back and compare yourself to who you were like 6 months ago, right? To see how far you've come with like nutrition or weightlifting or whatever. There are very few things where it's like, I won the lottery and now I have all this money, right?
Sure.
How many people does that happen to, right?
Okay.
This was like almost immediately I felt like I kind of had to put myself in check to be like, maybe I feel a little too confident right now because I feel like I can do anything, after this. But he's not listening at this point. He's looking at mom, waiting for her to save it. And I'm like, yeah, mom, I dare you to say something at this point.
Well, he didn't. What did he say? Like when you said it was abusive?
Nothing.
He said nothing.
So then I said, Dad, did you know that my first memory is of having my hair pulled? I remember toddling.
Do you remember what happened? Like what the
Nope,
circumstances?
I have no idea. I remember being in the front room. I remember toddling, so I had to have been a toddler, right? I mean, probably younger than my daughter, right? Mm-hmm. I remember running from him and screaming, crying. And I remember he grabbed my hair and he pulled me down and he either like spanked me or he like kicked me, or I just remember pain after that. That's my very first human
and honestly
memory.
It could have just been him in a bad mood.
Yeah.
You could have just been like a kid and he just lost his
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember if we would fall into the furniture or something, he'd be like,
check the furniture.
Check the furniture.
He didn't give a shit about us.
He did not.
Mm-mm. So now we're getting more of a clear picture of why I think he's evil, right? A little bit more. So I told him that. I told him, this is my first memory. He goes, that didn't happen. Okay.
Tell him to call your sister.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It's funny because I also, after this conversation, called our cousin Adam. And I told him about this. And he goes, yeah, I remember seeing it too. So you're not the only one who saw it. Adam saw it too.
Yeah. I want you to know, I know we're 9 years apart.
Yeah.
And it was not my responsibility. I want you to know I know that in my head.
Yeah.
But I carry a lot of guilt.
Your body feels that.
That I didn't do something.
Yeah.
And as I got older and you were having trouble, I really did try to be like, well, at least I can redeem myself now. Like, who am I at 14 to be doing, whatever? And I mean, we had it out. Me and Dad would have it out, And
you guys didn't talk for a long time.
We didn't talk for a really long time. And you came home and like we had a bond. And then he was really worried about you, whatever that means. I don't know. Maybe if you ended it, it would look bad on him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Right. But he had taken me in when I had kids and I had nowhere to go. So I'm almost very thankful for that. Whether it was being altruistic or him being selfish, I don't know. But I just needed a place to be.
Yeah.
And he gave that to me. And then I know he was really worried about you. And then I was like, well, you're not going to fuck him up. He can come talk to me.
You know what? You want to know the saddest part of this entire conversation is when I was going into this conversation, I had told Miri one time, my wife, she had felt really bad about something. And I had been trying to like fix it, and it was like not working. And I ended up saying like, I didn't feel any ill will towards her, but I ended up saying like, maybe this will help her if I say this. And I was like, I forgive you, you know? And it helped. It worked. God. It worked. Whatever it was, she was, I don't remember what it was, but she was like, that actually makes me feel so much better. Yeah. And so I was thinking, the saddest part of this is I was thinking, I might bring this stuff up to him and then say like, but it's okay because I forgive you. And that ended up not happening.
Has he ever apologized to you for anything ever?
Not a single time. I've never even heard the word sorry come from his mouth.
Has mom ever apologized to you for anything? Not that I can think of anything bad she's ever done, but
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. She has. Sometimes she'll call me and she's like, I'm sorry if I was mean earlier. And I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking
about. Yeah, I don't think we have had that same kind of antagonistic spats. Because I am much more, I think you're much more, I don't know what to say about that. My relationship with mom is just different in that I don't really talk to her about politics ever. And you do. You talk to her about politics.
Because I just want to know that she's the angel and saint. I know she is.
And I'm over here like, it's not about politics.
I know.
She doesn't care about politics.
I know.
She cares about.
But that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that she chooses evil.
I bring that up to him. He says, that didn't happen. And I'm like, that didn't happen. No. I said, okay, well, what about the time when I was a sophomore and I stood in the kitchen and I had a knife to my wrist and I was saying I was going to kill myself. And I remember he stood behind mom, like not sure what to do. And mom was like, give me the knife, honey. Give me the knife, honey. Just give me the knife, honey. And I'm like doing this, like sobbing, right? And in the crazy thing is in my head at the time, I was thinking like, oh, I'm being dramatic. Right? And now it's like, I was like 15. You're not dramatic. Like, yeah, you're a 15-year-old, you're trying to figure out stuff. But there's a difference between like, shut up, mom, and like, I'm going to kill myself in front of you.
Yeah, you were not being melodramatic.
No.
Right, you were in pain.
So I finally give the knife over, and I crawl into a ball and I'm sobbing. And dad says, what is wrong with him? That's a big trigger phrase for me. What is wrong with him? What is wrong with you is a huge trigger phrase for me. Right?
Yeah.
Now, he didn't deny that one, but he's like, I don't remember that. Like, oh, so I'm glad to see how important I am to you, that you don't remember that. And I'm like, look, Dad, I understand you. I think you probably had a tough childhood. And he goes, how do you know that?
Where's your evidence?
Here's our evidence. He thought that was going to be a gotcha. And I'm like, what? Well, I don't know. That's why I said, I think. Right. And he goes, I had a great childhood. I'm like, oh, so you have no excuse for the way you treated us then. I was about to give you an out and you just spit on it.
Right.
I said, so I've told you why I'm this way. Let me tell you why you're the way you are. You're the way you are because mom didn't divorce you to protect her children from psychological and physical abuse. And instead, she's insulated you from the consequences of your actions. You've never been allowed to make mistakes. And so you've never gained any wisdom. And that's why you are the way that you are right now.
He's never had consequences.
He's never had consequences because mom has always insulated him from them because she's a badass. I said, because mom is a 1 in a million woman. I mean, I would even say person, right? Like she's a 1 in a million human being, right?
Sure.
It has nothing to do with her being a woman, right? Like I would even argue more so because she's a woman, right? Like more than 1 in a million.
I mean, she's dominating a men's field that was new.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the people she works with love her.
Of course. She's amazing.
She doesn't have to rule by fear.
And people love dad because they love mom.
Because dad's on a little leash and he can pretend like mom's the one on the leash and he can be a crazy little guy, but we know who runs the house.
You know what? I had a thought the other day. Yeah. I remember several times being in the car and dad said, you know, if we ever got divorced, like he was talking to us.
Yeah, you're going to go with mom.
You're going to go with mom.
Yep.
And as a kid, I was like, that's a weird thing to say. And as an adult, I realized they were probably fighting and he was terrorizing her. He was terrorizing her by terrorizing her children.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Kids, if we ever get divorced, you won't ever see me again. So now we're upset because he knows that's going to dig at mom. And I can only see that now as an adult.
How terrible is it that you have an angel in that car and you have someone that's just talking shit about that angel right to her face in the worst way. Mm-hmm. Like, mom deserves so much better. Mom is like looking at me and she says, what could dad do? Which I think is a fair question. And I said, like, I think that's a fair question. Let me think about that for a moment, because I don't know. I'm a little bit worked up right now. I don't know what he could do. Let me think about that.
Right.
And so then she goes, Dad, what could Alex do? He's like, have some common sense. And I said, okay, I know what you can do. You can be less judgmental. And he goes, I will never be less judgmental. And I said, okay, so if you're, and I looked at Mom and I'm like, if we can't, it takes two to build a bridge, right? And every time I'm throwing a rope over, he's setting it on fire. And Dad was like, that's it, I'm done. And he like walks away, right? I look at Mom and she's like, I was afraid that this was going to happen. And I'm like, yeah. What am I supposed to do? I go, do you think I caused this? And I clarified to her, like, I didn't mean it in a way to be like, oh, you think I caused this? I meant it to be like, I want your opinion, as a person that I very much still respect. And she goes, no. So she knows. And then I said, let me leave you with this, Mom. He makes a lot of claims about the devil because he thinks you and me are the devil. So I said, let me make this clear. If anyone has the devil in them, it's Dad. Dad is using the Bible to take God's name in vain and justify his emotions. You need to talk to him about that if you care about his soul. Because you can see it, it's plain that that's what's happening. He's taking God's name in vain to justify his emotions, and that is not written anywhere in the Bible.
Right.
So,
right.
If you care, that's what you're talking about.
Like, how much is she being held back?
Oh man, I think she is one of those people that is just content. I mean, she's like one of those people, like, she's a legend because she could do so much more. I mean, it's like George Washington, right? Like, George Washington had all the power. He had the power of the military. They wanted him to become the king. And he was like, peace. I'm headed out to my farm. You guys figure this shit out. I don't want this power. Like, Mom is that way.
She is that way.
She doesn't want...
She doesn't need accolades. She doesn't need...
She could be a millionaire. She probably already is. They probably have that much money.
They probably do.
But she's like, I'm content. Why would I want more? And I'm like, that's why you need to be in office. Because you don't want more, 100%. That's why you need to drop his ass. But because you don't want more.
I mean, if she had such a weight on her since she was, 16, right?
Yeah. I mean, he probably groomed her. He basically groomed her.
Yeah. But if she had been partnered with somebody who, had been like, go, keep going, you're doing great, blah, blah, blah. He's always just like, Mom makes the money. Like, I can spend Mom's money. What could she have done if she had somebody that actually supported her because he believed in her, not because of what she could have done?
Probably cured fucking cancer.
Probably could have.
Yeah.
She probably could have. She could have. Yeah. She could have done such good, and he held her back.
Yeah. So Mom goes, here's the funny part. Here's where this is the moment where I knew I was different. That I had changed. She goes, you should tell him that you love him before you go. Now, it should be noted that when we were kids, when Dad would have, first of all, he's not diagnosed with OCPD. I just think he has OCPD, okay, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. It's like things are only done right when I do them, and they have to be done a specific way, or it's not correct. For OCPD, it's like no one else can help me because they'll just fuck it up. Right? It's a personality disorder.
Yeah, he definitely has personality disorder. And Mom made us cater to it. Mm-hmm. Right?
We walk on eggshells.
So he could throw a fit and we would just,
be a little bitch. Yeah.
Always be quiet.
So when we would always have to be quiet because he would have to go in his room and think. Whatever the fuck that means.
What do you think that means?
I have no idea. I imagine just like calm down. But he's probably just in there riling himself up because it never seemed to help.
It never seemed to help. I think Mom made him go in there because she's afraid of what he could do to us.
Maybe.
Like take it out on us. And
surprised he didn't take it on us more. He delighted in punishing us.
He delighted in punishing us. And I think it was a lot worse when I was little, because by the time you came along, he liked the punishment.
Yeah.
But when I was little, he would be mad about something.
Just rage.
And we would get it at home, right? So he did. So I think
I caught the back end of that.
You did.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that you did.
No, and I don't think you're saying that. But you guys definitely had it. It was in a worse way.
It was bad.
Yeah.
And things that could not have been my fault.
Right.
So I think though that mom probably was like, there had to have been something that happened. And she was like, listen, when you get like this, you're going to have to go in the room and shut the door. I'll keep the kids away. But, and that was like their compromise. Because, I mean, the hair pulling happened. The breaking my shit happened, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You wanted, what was it? You wanted to show him?
I had a little toy saxophone. I had to go to EMDR for this. For this, I can tell the story now and not cry. I have this little toy saxophone. I had to be 3. That's one of my very first memories. And
oh my God.
I know. And it was Christmas time. And I got a blanket, like a little doll blanket, and I wrapped it up. I remember taping it. And I put it under the Christmas tree. And Dad's car had broken down and he had to run home in the rain. Okay, I get but I get how that would be. You would be like, upset. I don't want to deal. Like he should have just been like, I can't do this right now, Trish. Like that's what he should have been like, right?
Although I can't imagine doing to my daughter what he did to you.
Of course not. Of course
even
not.
If I had to do that.
And he came in and I showed him because he was upset and like I'm too little to know.
Yeah.
And I think like I have a Christmas present, and he took it from me and he opened it and he broke it. And I was like, maybe that wasn't the time he had to run home in the rain. I think the time he had to run home in the rain. I don't know what he came home mad for. He had to run home in the rain once. The car broke down, and I got my hair cut. Okay? I'm little. Nick's probably 2, so I'm probably 5.
Okay.
6. And I got my hair cut, and she had feathered it out because it was the 80s.
It's super cute, yeah.
And I showed, Dad, look at my hair. And he stuck his tongue out at me. And gave me this. And I was like, all you want as a little girl is for your dad to be like, so pretty.
You're so beautiful. I love you so much.
I cannot think of one time Dad's ever said I was pretty.
Yeah, he's evil.
And I remember like at 12, him being like, you got to really work on those legs, or those inner thighs not touching, or something like that.
What a creepy thing to say.
I know. I mean, it was like I was in a swimsuit or something like that. And it was just like that's the goal. Ew. That's the unattainable goal.
Ew, dude.
But I'm not trying to ever say that Dad was like, Dad never did anything like that inappropriate with me. But it was just like his fixation on just like, he was a workout fiend and like all that stuff. And so he just had this like obsession that we could never compliment you.
Yeah.
I got to find something where you're like, I remember for a long time, I didn't know this was an insult. He didn't hit 50 pounds till he was 12. And I remember like, I was like 7, 8. And he's like, oh, you've already gone over 50 pounds. I didn't go over 50 pounds till I was 12. At the time I thought, oh, it's so, like now it's like, what a fucked up thing to say to a kid.
Yeah. That's how you get the shit slapped out of you.
I mean, like that's such an awful thing. And
if he said that to my daughter, I would fucking slap him. I would slap him.
I know.
I would not close fist. I would fucking slap the shit out of him for saying that to my daughter.
It was, I don't know. He doesn't have anything in his life except for his lack of accomplishment to be upset about.
I'll show him consequence.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
I know.
Like,
now I'm getting worked up.
Okay, yeah. Who's emotional?
Yeah, right.
As I'm gonna cry. But like he has nothing. Like he's got a great wife, and you know, he's all these things to be proud of. But the mom accomplished all the things that he wanted to accomplish. Right? So he kind of lives vicariously through her. And I will give him some credit that I told him the other day. I was trying to be like, we can be common agreements on some things, you know? And I said, Dad, you never, like men will a lot of times tear women down who accomplish more than them. I said, Dad, you never did that to Mom. And not that he ever like was like, keep going.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But he never like made her feel bad because she had accomplishments.
Yeah.
And a lot of men don't like when their wives have accomplishments. But, you know, he found a way to be like, how's this good for me? Instead of tearing her down, which is not great, but I'm glad at least she got to like be the big boss. And,
right.
But I don't know if you remember this. He used to make her like a march around the house in front of people.
I don't remember that.
Yes, he would make her march like they were in the Navy.
He's such a loser.
I know.
He's
it was like, how much
loser.
can I humiliate her in front of other people?
Dude.
I know.
So, okay. So we got to wrap this up.
Oh, sorry.
But no, that's okay. But so I bring up the going to go think thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what he had to do without saying it, right? He ran away like a little coward bitch. And mom was like, you should say you love him before you leave. And this is when I knew that finally the vindictive little prick that I can be has a use. And I can do it right now. So I said, okay, Mom, I'll go tell him I love him. So I go over there and I knock on the door. Love you, Dad. And I walk out. And I didn't do that because I love him.
I know.
I did that so he knows that I'm a better person than he is.
Yeah. Sometimes we're just not using our petty to our full potential.
Mm-hmm. Because fuck him. And ever since then, what was that? Today's Wednesday. That was like Sunday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I felt great. Like typically if I have like arguments with people at work or whatever, which hasn't happened in a long time, but when it used to happen with my last job, I'd be so anxious. Like, was I right? Did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? Like, am I being over dramatic? Am I, just like anxious? And now with this, it's like, I can't think of a more clear cut situation where I like stood up to a bully and like verbally bitch slapped him in front of his wife who could do nothing about it. And now I'm like, I've been pretty reserved when it comes to like family gatherings. I will run him out of family gatherings now. If he wants to start talking about politics, I will jump in and I will make him cry. This man that we've never seen cry, I'll do it. I will embarrass him in front of Marjorie. I'll embarrass him in front of your kids. And I'll be damned if he talks bad about me to my daughter, which I've seen him do to your kids about you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember bringing it up to Mom. Like, Mom, that's not okay. So if he wants to talk about politics from now on, he will learn very quickly that that's something he should keep his mouth shut about when he's around me. And I have no qualms. I have no anxiety about it. There's that little dickhead in me that was like, I want him to come up and say it so I can get this high again of bitch slapping a walking, like talking demon. It feels so good when when evil suffers.
For sure.
And that's the high I got from it that I've never felt before in my life, because I've always been like, did I do the right thing? What did I do? And it's like, well, he just gave me the evidence that he's not only stupid, but he's evil too. So if he wants to, like, I'll give it to me, baby. Give it to me. Give me that sweet satisfaction.
I need to be there.
Bring up Trump. Ooh, baby. Ooh, we will talk about it. And I will run you out, and I'll chase you out. I'll chase you to the car and be like, yeah, run, bitch. Run, coward. How does it feel? I'll do it. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
All this Epstein stuff's going to come out. I bet you in 10 years, they're all going to deny ever being Trump supporters.
Yes, I saw that. Because you know what? I was listening to another political podcaster, and he debates a lot of people. I don't know why I'm not saying his name is Destiny, but he's like, I can't think of a single person now who says that they supported the war in Iraq. But we fucking went to war.
Yeah.
And I remember people, I was like in 4th grade, I remember people being like, yeah, let's bring us together. Like, we're like out for blood. Now you can't find a single fucking politician that's like, oh yeah, I supported the war in Iraq. No, all of them were like, well, I've never supported the war in Iraq.
Right.
Like, okay, then how the fuck did we go there? Because this had to go through fucking Congress. So some of you retards had to fucking say some shit about it, right?
Right.
But where are you now? That same shit is going to happen with Trump. I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be like,
I have a picture of your MAGA flag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was merchandise, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the stuff that's insane. And he wore his Trump Santa shirt to Christmas 2 years in a row.
Yeah. 2 years in a row.
I think we should make shirts for next year.
I was thinking, like, if he walked in being like, oh, my Fuhrer. I'm sorry, my father. Like, if he wore that shirt again, like, I would be like, why do you have a rapist on your shirt? Like, I'll goad him.
So that happened the other day.
I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, at a wrestling tournament.
Oh, you told me about it.
I can't remember how it started, but he was talking to the concession girl. And he said something about Trump, and I was like, ugh. And I turned around and walked away. And he's like, she doesn't like Trump. Like, he's talking to these girls. Like, I'm your fucking daughter.
Yes.
Like,
any kind of petty little bitch.
And I said, you mean the rapist? And I kept going. And then he brought it up to me later. He's like, they thought that was so funny. I was like,
see, the difference between you and me is I would not walk away. I would turn around and I would be like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in front of these people. And we'll see how you get to show everyone how dumb you are. It's delicious to me.
I tell you what, though.
I want it.
The reason I don't is because I am not good at not being emotional.
Yeah.
And I know it, and I'm not trying to hurt my cause because I get to a point where I can't think. See, and I can't articulate.
And now I know I can.
Yeah, you
because
can.
that was something that I was nervous about because of how things have happened in my past where I've gotten too worked up and I can't think. And it's like, now I think I was very calm under that and I was able to articulate things very well. So much so that mom was not even able to come to his defense.
That is
a huge deal
thing,
for us because she will lay over backwards for him. She will break her spine for him.
She will give her soul up for him.
Apparently. So, and like, it's not like I would come up to that and be like, start talking shit about Trump. I could easily start to make him go off about it and be like, oh, why don't you tell them how you shouldn't think women should vote?
He'll say it though.
He'll say it, but then he'll but that just makes it funny for me because it'll obviously be like my goal at that point is just to humiliate him in front of others. It's not to change his mind or to change the mind of the other people that are around. Yeah. It's like I'm you know what? It's more fun when you're laughing with other people.
So maybe that needs to be my new mindset is like he's not about changing his mind or like being upset that he's fucking evil. It's that, let's just let him say all this stupid shit out loud so we can laugh at him together. Yeah.
He's so funny because he says he's a patriot and it's like, what, because you were in the Navy? Because you did payroll? Like nothing against anybody that's in the Navy, but he uses that, right? And it's like, bitch, I was in the infantry.
Right.
I bet I was the smallest Marine Corps infantry machine gunner that's ever lived. I bet money on that because I was even smaller than I am now. I was like 115 pounds, 120
I remember
pounds.
you had to like gain weight.
I had to gain weight. And I had to be more than like 108 pounds or something. And I was a machine gunner. I was running up hills in flak and Kevlar with machine guns on my back, throwing them bitches down and like laying down fire, So we want to talk about patriots.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Like he's not a fucking patriot and he doesn't know what that even means.
No, he doesn't. It's his side winning.
Yeah, that's all. That's it. About. It's just justifying his emotions,
and it's hurting the people he doesn't like. Mm-hmm. That's why I like Trump. Why? Because Trump hurts the people he doesn't like. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Well, that's the other thing. Is like I know he didn't give you any history lessons or stuff, but early in his days, he used to teach me all that shit. Mm-hmm. We talked about Nazi Germany all the time. We talked about fascism all the time. Mm-hmm. So for him, it's just like the deconstruction of it and seeing how they sent us to private school and like, but not. We don't want you acting like that, you fucking socialist. Like, yeah. Like, what? This is how you brought me up this way. Yeah. But because I don't have a deep sense of shame on your arbitrary rules, I'm the problem.
That's exactly what it is. It's shame.
Yeah. And I'm not going to live in shame. Like, the faster I can, like, back to Jordan Peterson back in the day before he was crazy, right? He used to talk about, like, being meek meant you were, like, strong, but you chose to not wield your
I mean, that's what really being a man is. Like, I would say that I think what we've gotten away from is like being a man doesn't mean antagonistic to what it means to be. Like being a good man doesn't mean that those qualities are antagonistic to what being a good woman is. Like, I feel like being a good man is like you have control over yourself, right? Like you're stronger, you can inflict pain if you really want to. And instead of doing that, you decide to lift other people up, right? 100%. So like in Lord of the Rings, right? I've never read the books, but Peter Jackson films, Aragorn is a great example of like positive masculinity, right? He's always lifting up other people. He's always looking out for others, and because he can fight, he can do all these things. And his final line in the movie as king of Minas Tirith is to the hobbits, you bow to no one, and he bows to them.
Well, you know who's a great example of masculinity just like that? Jesus.
Yeah.
Like he
Control.
Right? He washed the feet of his servant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was the servant, right?
Yeah.
He
He
could bring down heaven, and he chose not to. And he talked wisdom, and he lifted people up, and he lifted people who were marginalized, and he loved them. But see, that's weak now. That's empathy.
That's
the sin of empathy.
Yeah, the sin of empathy. 100%.
And the awesome thing about Jesus, though, was like he never tried to convince anybody of anything. If you didn't believe him, he just turned around and walked away. Like, that's boundary. Okay. You don't want to hear me? Okay. I'm not going to.
I'm going to fight you.
But I'm also respecting your thoughts, right? So I'll respect it. I think you're wrong, but I'm not going to say it to you.
But you're allowed to believe that.
You're allowed to believe it. I'll say my piece. You don't want to hear it. Cool.
Yeah, dad is very much like, you're not allowed to believe those things.
Right.
You're very much not allowed.
Not allowed. And he got 2 out of 3 on the wrong side. On the wrong side.
Yep. And if Nick ever comes to his senses, he will lose all 3. But right now, I think he's kind of trapped where he's at.
But he's lost the 2 that he has proximity with.
Yeah.
Because Nick's not here.
Nick abandoned him for California. Well, I think we should probably wrap up.
I agree. This was good. All right. I love you.
Love you.
I'm glad you're my brother.